Hey there, and welcome to Hometown Hairdressers Conversations with Friends. I'm Ernesto.
I'm Shauna. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Shauna.
Hi. It's been so long, you guys. We are really excited to be back. We've had a lot of life that's happened in
A lot of life. How long has it been? It's been a month.
I think it's been a month and a half since we've been here
Sounds
or we've
right.
spoke to you guys. So much apologies, but we're about to unpack with you all the things that we've been doing and some of the things that we've learned and some of the things that we've gained. So with that being said, Ernie, would you like to tell them what we've got this episode here titled as?
Yeah, so we're calling it Mirror Mirror, and the reason is I think that we all have mirrors, and I think that we all look in them, and I think that we all think things about what we see in the mirror every day. And I really am talking physically, but um, those things that we want to change, or even the things that we love, things that we want to enhance. And I don't know, I just want to kind of circle around that and all the things that do with it, and decisions that we make when we're young, and things that we come to regret later
as we get older.
As we get older, you just experience something yourself, and we'll get into that. But essentially, what is it you see when you look in the mirror?
Well, that was one of the things I was really excited about with this topic to talk about is I think it's not about when you're in our industry. And let me back up just a minute into the beauty industry. Y'all, the other day, me and Ernie were sitting at work and we were talking just about how long we stand in front of a mirror and how long we look at it. And I just looked at him and I'm like, hey, are there any ramifications for this? This can't be healthy.
It can't be.
This can't be good for us.
The story of Narcissus? Yeah.
Narcissism?
Yes. So the guy who looked in the water, and eventually he fell in and it killed him. So that thing that he loved looking at.
Yeah.
But it's bound to do some damage after a while. Or create like super ego.
Well, yeah.
Right? Or both.
I don't know. I think for me, more so than anything, I more relate to like the trashed out Barbie memes by the end of the day. I feel like when yes, and then you're looking at it. Hellacious fluorescent lights that literally just draw out every imperfection you could possibly have. Yeah, I do think that there are days that, when I go home, maybe it does, play a part in how I do or don't feel about myself that day, especially if you're feeling bloated or, anything, all things above, can go into play here. But I don't know. I do. I think it does take a toll on you.
Well, I think everybody eventually gets tired of looking at those things that bother you. I think when looking at the bags under my eyes and stuff, I realize there's just some things that show up under those fluorescent lights that don't show up in my car.
Correct.
In my vanity mirror, right?
Let that sunlight hit.
Yes, nice? And it's like, oh no, it's not so bad. I'm doing okay.
I'm good. But fluorescents are terrible.
But so I don't want to sound superficial with this, but it's something we all do.
Right.
It is a thing, right? We all see ourselves. And I'm just interested to know, not to bring up your thing, but specifically with what you just, went through. And I'll let you talk about that now if you want.
Yeah.
And you that decided to do it, and then the you that decided to do what you did. So take it from here.
Okay. So let's just back it up about 12 years or so, maybe 13, close to. Everybody was getting breast implants, right? It's like you wanted bigger boobs, you wanted the fullness, like it enhanced your figure, it made you look so fantastic. And so obviously everybody else was doing it, so I was going to do it.
So where were you when you started as far as your size, your
Well, I was probably, depending, your chest size always fluctuates with your weight.
Well, ish.
Yes. BC cup, like plenty.
Okay, so it's not like you were tiny.
I was not like nothing. I had plenty of things. But I wanted to do what everybody else did. And so therefore I jumped in, off into that. And
so was
never
it that?
Really looked back.
Was that do you think that was the majority of your reason, was just you?
Well, I did, like at that point in time, I had really kind of started getting into running. I was cycling. I was actually doing some really fantastic, exercise
and you
things.
Lost weight, lost
boobs. So I thought, now is the time. And then, again, they were really popular. It was really, really a thing. And so I wanted that. And I didn't really care what anybody said. And at that point in time, had they told me, hey, Shauna, you could potentially have issues with this, or there could potentially be side effects here, or there could be this, that, there, I wouldn't have listened.
Right.
So, the fact that
nobody was going to talk to you.
No, I was going to have these boobs. And so anyhow, fast forward a couple years, the first surgeon I used, I didn't do a whole lot of research on. And so I ended up going and having to have some reconstructive work done because, the job that he did was not good. So now 2.5, 3 years in, we're not just $5,000 in on breast implants, but now we're another 7,000 or so in because you had to have reconstruction and new implants.
See, and that's always been a fear of, I think, a lot of people's with any kind of cosmetic surgery is to go in and end up with more complications than anything you started with, or to come out looking worse, which luckily yours didn't, obviously.
Well, and I think that, I went in and had it all redone, reconstructed, and that was, okay, great. Now I've got the ones I wanted. And the surgeon I used the second time, fantastic, hands down, would go to him 100 times over. He does fantastic work. So let me go on ahead and say this before we go any further, because there is a lot of controversy behind like breast implants and breast implant illness. Surgeons are doing their job, and he does a fantastic job. His reconstructive work was fantastic. What he's done now has been fantastic. So these were all my decisions. These were based on, things that I had decided, I'd wanted. And like I said, at that point in time, I wouldn't have been talked out of.
So just to catch everybody up, you just had, excuse me, we just had chips and queso. We should not have eaten chips and queso before podcast, but here we are. So you had them explanted.
I did.
You recently had them taken out.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, but going, back to, I did the second surgery, and with that, I had the implants put in that I'd wanted, and the way I wanted it done the first time. So I was happy.
And yours were silicone.
Mm-hmm. They were silicone. And so, here I have this look. I'm, crazy top heavy, and I'm leaning over people all day, and I'm, working behind the chair, and I'm loving my figure, but I'm starting to not love how I feel on the inside.
What were you feeling?
Well, I think a lot of the things that I felt were more so, it started with my gut. Like I started to feel that, digestive wise and things like that, like things were just not functioning like they used to. I had hurting, I had inflammation, I had several symptoms, to the point to where I finally did end up going and seeing, my family doctor and then on to a GI specialist.
At any point when you were seeing either one of those, did they think it had anything to do possibly with
that was
implants?
Nothing. Nowhere near was that on any radar or anything like that. They had, there was really no reasoning behind what the inflammation was or why it was caused or where, what was causing it. There was no explanation just other than, well,
figure out the symptoms.
Yeah. And so, they did several studies on like my GI tract. I had colonoscopies, and, there were lots of other health things and bumps along the way until finally I got to a point where it was just like, I was just chasing doctors. And so I got to a point where I just didn't want to do any of it anymore.
Just ignored it, lived with it?
I started to just learn to live with it. You can only complain for so long when people don't want to hear it.
They're not finding anything.
Well, and
or I'm not saying they weren't finding anything, but maybe finding the cause, the source, or just that things weren't ending. They kept going.
Yeah. And so I guess I just didn't really think that, I got over the few humps and hurdles of health issues and got to a point where I just kind of felt like I had kind of leveled out. And so with that, I just kind of tried to maintain that. And what that entailed was a lot of restrictions. No alcohol, no drinking, no, like any kind of like seeds or grains. Like there's just so many sensitivities I had to my diet that if I did eat it, like I would know that the next couple of days I was really going to take, it was going to take a toll on me. And so
how long did you go until that moment when you realized this is my boobs, call it, these implants that are causing all of these things, or could be?
I don't necessarily know that I ever got to a point. I think it was just over a period of time and just reading and listening to other women and listening to their symptoms and listening to the things that they have said that they had struggled with, watching a couple of friends, take their breast implants out. Honestly, a year ago, my mother explanted, and that was a big thing for me because, she had a lot of systemic inflammation and a lot of, issues with her body, and kind of just freaking out always. And I wanted to see how she reacted once hers were removed. And she did. She had a lot of things that subsided for her, like her migraines, not everything. And I mean, I don't think that these cause all the problems. I just think that, for a very, very, very long time, for vanity purposes, I put my body through a lot of things that it didn't necessarily have to go through. And what I wanted to get to today is why. Why are we doing these things?
Yeah.
Why are we not happy with where we are? Why are we not happy with what we've been given? And I think that it took a long time, and this just kind of being the ending to that part of my journey is like, I am happy with who I am. And one of the things that I think I reflect on the most is when I had my implants taken out, I was so concerned. The 2 to 3 weeks leading up to the surgery were just mentally tormenting, because you think, okay, well, this is what I've gotten so used to me looking like. What is this possibly going to look like afterwards? And so it's really hard to kind of wrap your mind around it. But like with what I did and results that I have, like I feel more confident today than I ever did with those implants in my body. Like, period. No questions asked.
Well, the way you've been running around the salon with a bra on,
stop.
Bouncing around like a 17-year-old, it shows.
No, but
the difference in you was noticeable from the next day.
Yeah.
When I saw you the next day without any makeup on, literally post-surgery, you were glowing. Your skin looked different. It still looks different. It just has this.
Well, and there was the one complication that we did not know about until after the surgery was over, is that both of my implants had in fact ruptured. So there was I
just think it says so much that your body had been telling you, and even maybe before they ruptured, that this was wrong.
Right.
And that you had already made the decision to pull those out and then discovered they were ruptured.
That was very surreal. It was very much a confirmation
of,
well, and listen to your intuition. There's a lot of people that can go through and have these procedures done, and it doesn't affect them in any way, shape, or form. Everybody's different. But to the people who are struggling, to the people who are hurting, to the people who have, constant back pain and, just constant, like, honestly, there was a point in time in this last year, I will not lie to you, where I thought I was either having chest pain. Like, honestly, in my left-hand side, we do have heart disease in my family history. My mother has struggled with that for years. And I would sit on the couch and I could feel like just whatever. Well, and it very well does so happen to be the side that I guess was a little bit more exposed than the other. So
that's crazy. Your body was sitting there telling you.
Yeah. And so super relieved to know it's not anything to do with my heart. But at the end of the day, yes, my body was telling me. My body was rejecting that. And my body was saying, you know what, like, enough is enough. And so I'm really thankful for what I did. I'm really grateful that I had the ability to do it.
So with the almost 50-year-old Shauna today.
43.
Just get used to it.
Yeah. So many months older than you.
Quite the age difference here.
I mean, it's a gap.
So with the today Shauna.
Yes.
And the Shauna prior to getting the implants, do you feel like you're kind of not worse for the wear, that you still came out good? You don't feel like you look any worse than before? Do you feel like you look better?
Well, so actually, I'm really, really glad that you asked that. We're just going to talk about my boobs this whole episode.
It's big. It just happened.
It is big. It's huge. But at the end of the day, I'm actually more happy now than I was prior to any of the implants. And that's something that
it's not just physical though, is it?
Physically even. Yes, physically.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not just physical.
No, it's not just physical. It's very much emotional. It's very much on the inside, like just to kind of be, like test the whole gut thing. I mean, right out of surgery, probably 2 to 3, 4 days afterwards, I ate some sugar. No, I didn't have Taco Bell. But I did eat some sugar, and I hadn't had sugar in months. Like I hadn't had sugar since Lent started, and
wow,
it didn't make me feel horrible. It didn't make me feel like awful. I've had like some different grains and things like that I've added back in.
It'd be great if you could reintroduce some of those things.
Yeah.
I mean, not sugar necessarily, but almonds, all those things that bothered you.
But in the physical part of it, like one of the things that I noticed is, talking to my daughter. She's 17, and I've had to overcome a lot of like self-image issues that maybe weren't even necessarily warranted, but it was just something I was raised around. And so I've always just had this hyper conscious, whatever. And recently overcoming that, I want her to know that, you don't have to do these things that are these trendy things to, just be happy with who you are. Like you are absolutely gorgeous. Cause my daughter is beautiful. Both of my daughters are.
Yeah,
but
they definitely are. But it's that you just said it a minute ago. There was nothing that anybody could have said to you that would have changed your mind.
There wasn't.
And I wish I knew the magic words or the combination to say the things that would sink into somebody's mind who might be listening to this. We're not against plastic surgery. We're not against things like that. That's not what we're coming at with here by any means. It's just a retrospective insight.
Well, and honestly, what I did have was an elective procedure after I had the implants taken out, and that was a lift. Now, to be 100% honest, had I done that prior to ever putting implants into my body, just that plastic surgery, just that procedure itself, whatever it's called, I think it's like it's a big word, I don't know, but mastopexy, something like that. But anyhow, had I just done that, I think I would have been 100% happy with my results. And I would have not struggled with just for instance, the neck and back pain that I've lived with for the last 10 years on purpose because it's something I wanted versus where I could have literally been, our job, the ergonomics of our job, the way we lean over people, the way we're constantly suspended in, a state, for long periods of time without a lot of movement. Like, why would I continuously just punish myself
because
in my
they
body?
Look so good.
Anyhow.
Right? You had your hot girl summers.
Had the hot girl summers. The hot girl summers are done.
No, they're not. They are not.
I mean,
summer.
This has been, it has been a great summer. It's been very much eye-opening. It's been very refreshing to come out on the other side of this with little to no worry about how I look.
Good.
My cares are less now of how people perceive me than they were prior to this.
Because you're more sure in how you perceive yourself,
yes.
and that you're not seeking anything from or as much from other people.
Validation.
Right.
Right.
And would you say overall that you regret getting them done?
No, I think all of it was part of my journey. Okay. All of it's part of, I think everything we do has a purpose and it's part of our story. And it's either here to teach us a lesson or, don't you think? I mean,
yeah. Well, I almost started to say, as long as you're growing from it, but there's things that are part of my history that I didn't immediately grow from or learn from.
Right.
That still had their place. Right.
Right.
So, right. No regrets. But I had my own little procedure done, about the same number of years as you. It was not as big as the one that you had. It was laser lipo around my midsection. And it's not like the red light treatment. It's actual incisions where they melt fat and suck it out. So, but it's not that big, aggressive, huge needle lipo.
Okay.
So
what did that so what led you to the point of thinking that was something that you absolutely needed to do?
That midsection that would not go away.
Okay. I got that.
Period.
I got that. But what I mean is where was it? Was it you in the mirror every day?
Yes, looking down at myself and No, not even so much that. With clothes on, you can hide a lot. But it was how I would look in a bathing suit, how I'd look in underwear. Like I just always had this tire around my midsection. And when I was a kid, I remember my mom's side of the family joking it was the Baber roll. And I remember I didn't have a Baber roll for a long time, and I was upset. And I finally got a Baber roll, and I was so proud. But looking back on that summer that I got my Baber roll, I got a little chubby.
Okay.
So there it went, right? I'm chubby for me.
Right.
So.
Which is not chubby at all.
It's all relative.
Can we all please be that chubby?
So, anywho, it just kind of stuck. And, even not to be crass, but even when I was drugged out, when I was super skinny, it just was still there.
Right.
And genetics does play such a big role in all of the way we look that a lot of it can't be helped. So my thought on it was, let me do everything that I can to get it off, without the drugs. And I got serious about my working out, and I got serious about my eating, and all of that to a point that I probably took it too far. And I finally was like, I need this sucked out. It's just got to be sucked out.
There is no other way. You just need to suck it out.
I'm not going to live with this Baber roll. Sorry, Mom. Sorry.
You wanted it for so long.
Not that long. It was like first and second grade. Yeah. But, so yeah, I found a doctor in Midland who did a wonderful job. She had good reviews. And what I loved about it is that she wouldn't just set me on the table and cut me open and do it. I had to prove to her that I was a worthy candidate.
Okay, wait, let's stop right there for just 1 second. Don't you think that there is a little bit of mental game in any kind of elective surgery?
I don't think you should just be able to do it.
Exactly. There should be some little.
Well, with gastric procedures, sure, with weight loss procedures, it's usually coupled with therapy. That's not always the case with facelifts or fillers or nose jobs or anything like that. And I want to say again, we're not bashing any of this.
No,
we both have
not
been
at all.
under the knife electively, and
we'll probably go back for other things.
This is more about I don't even think we're imparting a lesson today. It's just kind of reflective.
Yeah, and what we've learned and what we've taken from it. And if there's anything that resonates with anybody, take it with you.
If not, then just listen to us clear our throats. And,
but anyways,
I do not regret it at all. It was something that I felt I didn't rush into. Okay. It was something that I wanted for myself, because when I looked in the mirror or when I looked down at myself, I didn't like it. And it was something that I did try to change in the right ways and some of the wrong ways. But this didn't harm anybody else.
Right.
Nobody paid for it. I paid for it. It was my decision, and it's something that I felt very good about doing. I still feel good about it. I probably could use a tune-up, but it's something that it made me look at myself differently. It gave me a little bit more of that body that I always imagined me with. There's that thing that you envision yourself a certain way, and then you look in the mirror and it's like, oh, no, I didn't quite have it right in my mind. Now it's more lined up with that. It's still not perfect. There's still things that I'm working on and that I would change, but that was huge for me. And I don't regret it.
Right.
A bit.
And I think that's one thing I've taken from all of this is I started walking and running quite a bit in order to get to a point where I felt like I was healthier, with my lungs and my lung capacity leading up to my surgery. And I had started running before I ever got the implants in, because, you want to be skinny and looking good and be fine. So then when those are in there, it's even better, right? The moment I got those in, there was no running anymore.
Right.
It was so heavy. And so
I'm curious how much they weighed.
I don't even know that it's that much. I just think it's the awkwardness of it, maybe.
Where they are right there in your front. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And then it's just the running and just
bouncing.
Obviously, yes.
Smacking the face.
Shut up. Okay. But anyways, the need to have to wear 2 bras or anything like that, you know what I mean? It just kind of takes away the joy of running.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm so excited about is I've been released to walk again. So, I've walked a lot of miles because that is my therapy. But is running, because I can just tell you right now.
Oh, you've been cleared to run?
Not yet.
Oh.
I have another week.
Just to walk?
Just walking. But I can tell you, once I'm cleared to run, it's going to be easy.
You
and I'm excited.
It?
I might just go run a while.
She was running.
I'm excited. Like, that's one thing I really do look forward to. Like, it's just, wow. Like, I have not been able to do that in 10 plus years.
I think there's going to be a lot that you haven't been able to do that you're just going to find out things you didn't even think about. You know,
hold my shoulders back.
Right.
I mean, that's a whole
posture
thing. Yeah.
Not hurt at the end of the day as much.
Yes. And see my ankles. How many times have I told you about my ankles since my surgery?
About 11,000.
11,700.
11,700.
A lot of times, because the systemic inflammation that I was carrying around it with the silicone situation was pretty crazy. So, ladies, listen to your body. Gentlemen, listen to your body. If y'all have any kind of anything and things are haywire and there's just not an explanation, well, start the process of elimination. That is my best advice, is the process of elimination.
Explain.
Like, start to take away things that you've put into your body, whether it be medications, whether it be things like that. You know?
But we're stubborn. We don't.
You know what I mean?
We want to look at the easiest choice to eliminate, right?
Right.
Or there's those of us who like to say they can get things up.
And then they don't.
And then they don't.
Yeah. Like sugar. Ernesto.
That's what she calls me.
Sugar. Would you say, though, in the long run, that after your procedure, you felt like you had more confidence?
You know, it took about a year for my body to settle into what it was going to be.
Okay.
And she told me it could take up to a year. I was really swollen for a long time. And it was all the way around back to my love handle. So there was like 9 incisions. But for your body to just kind of catch back up, I don't know. I was lumpy and swollen for a good little while. After that year, I do remember my first summer, my hot boy summer, we'll call it. I felt good.
Okay.
I felt like I could have my shirt off, and I would have my shirt off. But look, there's this one picture of me. It's with my friend Wendy, sitting by my pool, and it's just like a pear sitting on the side of the pool. It's that picture that just made me go, it's time. But those don't happen anymore. You know, right. I'm never going to have an 8-pack like my husband. I'm okay with that. I am okay with how I look in the mirror now. And as I've gotten older, my body's gotten better, which is something I never expected to happen.
Isn't that weird?
Right. You're supposed to be in your prime at 18. I was not. I feel like I was awkward until about 35. And the older I've gotten, like, those things that I didn't love about myself are starting to change. I've never had an ass. I have an ass.
You do have a booty now.
My husband has a name for it. It has its own name.
What's its name?
No.
Oh.
Jiggly Caliente.
Jiggly Caliente?
Jiggly Caliente.
I can't deal with you. I needed that today.
Anywho,
that's fantastic. And it is true. Like, I feel like the more would you say, okay, and so both of us talking about, you know, mirror, talking about looking in the mirror all the time, talking about what that does to you on the daily. Would you say that you've gained more from, 1, your plastic surgery, any of your elective things, or 2, the daily grind of your workouts and the mental stability and strength you build with that?
I knew you were about to hit me with a big one. I knew I could see it coming. God. So I don't think that my confidence comes from anything that I've had done electively. Right. I think that I have put more effort, more time, more everything into all that other stuff than I ever did my elective surgeries. Okay. That was a tool that I definitely utilized, and I don't regret. I'm happy it was available to me. I'm happy that I was able to do it for myself. And I like what it did for me. So I don't know that I put any, I couldn't have done that procedure without having done everything else. And I could not maintain having that procedure without continuing to do that, continuing to work out and be cognizant of what I eat and everything. So if I were going to have to pick one or the other, I would pick the working out and the eating right and all of that, because it did more long-term, all of that, than that procedure did. But I'm very happy that that tool was available to me.
Absolutely.
And I would do it again.
But what we're saying is your mental health is what's most important. And then all the extra icing on top of that cake is...
No, absolutely. That's a good way to wrap that up. Is I think the work that I put into it is definitely more for me. And it's something I still hold as important, that I will hold as a high priority, hopefully until the day I stop moving.
Yes.
You know, I think that's important for all of us, is that work, that long-term stuff. And, you know, I don't know, it's all clear as day looking back. But I think I'm going to have more things done.
Are you going to have more suction?
Oh, no, not suction. Probably I'm done with that. But yeah, I'm thinking
moving on to our
Liberace facelift.
Yes.
At some point, I have a plan.
You need to do the lifestyle one first.
I'm doing the lifestyle. That's part of my plan.
Okay.
You know?
Because I know the routine. I know what the regimen is. I know what you need to do.
I didn't touch your house there. I'm sorry. So before we move any further on, I also did want to make this statement out there to all of those of you who are getting fillers. I'm going to speak directly to fillers. Just be aware that your face has to age around these fillers that you're putting in your body. And if you change the shape of your face too early, your natural face that's still aging around it is just going to struggle. That's all I'm going to say. We don't have to elaborate on it. But there it is.
He has said his piece. I'm not touching on any of that.
No?
Not yet.
You shan't?
No. That's all you, boo.
Again, I'm not against fillers. I looked into them myself.
So let's touch a little bit more on what else you've been doing in this last one.
You're going to ambush me.
Not even. I'm really excited about what you've been doing and where you've been. Like, would you like to share?
Well, I guess most recently I got to visit my uncle for a week in Portugal. It's my first time to the over the pond. And but just before I left, I passed my real estate license exam. So I'm now
he's like double licensed, like
multi-license holder.
Yeah,
I collect turquoise jewelry and licenses.
As a matter of fact, though, y'all, seriously, this whole last 6 months, he's been grinding doing his real estate classes.
I'm not even going to try and be humble about that.
The podcast, he has been juggling home life. He's been having, doing things with his family and his husband and so on and so forth. See, he has been a master juggler, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. I'll take it. I do feel like there were times that I didn't know why I was doing what I was doing or how I was going to do it. But, if you just keep doing things with the right intention and the right heart and find a good balance in your relationship. I mean, I couldn't have done it without the support of Brent.
For sure.
My husband. He carried a lot of weight in the house for me, so that I could do this. And without that support, I would not have been able to do it.
Thank you, Brent.
Thank you, Richard.
You are so appreciated, and we love you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are very, very proud of you, Ernie. I mean, I know that just, we both dug in, done some pretty deep things and some taking some big strides.
It's been a big year.
We have, and I know that I'm dedicated to growing more. What about you?
Yeah, always. I think, again, the day that I stop, and I don't want to say stop moving, but the day I stop learning and growing is the day I'm probably ready to be done.
Yeah,
right.
I'm gonna dive in because I'm not gonna ever stop. Like I'm just so excited what we have in store for what comes with season 2. Like what Ernie and I are gonna do and try to bring to you for that, and how we can grow there, and just new perspectives and things of that nature. So Ernie's gonna get all kinds of advanced on TikTok. He said. He said he's gonna go live all the time for y'all.
I'm not even sure where that button is.
I don't. But we are going to start being a little more active on TikTok, and we're going to work on our frequency now too, as far as like.
Well, we had a little life to do.
We had a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and so that's kind of what this episode was.
Right.
We wanted to just let y'all know where we've been, and we haven't been blowing y'all off.
Because I know you've been dying to know. All of you.
Yes.
So just let's recap on this, right?
Okay.
A couple of things to just drive home. The big one is just watch it on the fillers, y'all.
Ernie's concerned highly.
I mean, Botox, I got no complaints with, other than it's so
they
expensive.
have a filler dissolver now, so they have the things that can go in and actually dissolve the fillers if it's an unwanted.
That worries me too. That sounds scary.
Okay.
But
we just won't talk about it with you.
There's so many things that do point to like these foreign things in your body, and your body telling you like, hey, stop it, get this out. Mine was with piercings. I could never, ever.
Did you get keloids? Those weird keloids?
I do have one in the cartilage part of my ear, but that's the only keloid that ever developed. Okay. But I'm talking multiple piercings I attempted.
Right.
And with all of them, my body just never would heal. The piercing was always looked fresh. You know how you wake up in the morning, you have to soak it in the salt water, and you got the discharge and the crust on it. Every one of my piercings was like that. My tongue, everything. So my body just finally was like, no. And I had to just give up, you know. But that's what it scares me to think about getting fillers, knowing that my body tends to be that way. I just don't know that I would have anything added to my own body. I'll have some stuff removed.
I just have it snipped and cut away.
Nipped and tucked, and what does Dolly say? She says something like that.
I don't know.
Drags or droops.
Aw, well, Dolly.
I mean,
she
look at
looks
her.
Good.
Yeah, but you know, just maybe consider spending a little bit more time working on the inner.
Absolutely.
Right. I think all of those things tie into how about this? I wish you had come up with a saying. I wish I'd given you these words I'm about to say and let you come up with one of your beautiful word nuggets that you do.
Okay.
But you know, all the work and all the knowledge and the growth that we experience and that we do as we age, if you could put all of that into the younger you, like, how would that change what you're looking at? You know what I mean? Like the wisdom filter, the growth filter that you put over your eyes. Like, it's got to improve what you're seeing. And if you improve what you're seeing, maybe you wouldn't want to change some of these things.
Right.
So just know that your vision might change a little bit, and what you're seeing in the mirror might change in a good way later on down the road. You just can't see it yet.
And I agree with you on that. I think anytime anybody's looking into doing anything of any stature where it changes your body, where it changes your physical appearance, talk to somebody. I don't care if it's just like one appointment, but like dissect that, break that down with a friend. Like, why are you doing it? Ask yourself some key core questions like, you know, is this, you know, am I doing it for the right reasons? This, that, or the other? You know, are there possible side effects? How could this affect me? How can this affect my job? Like just basic things. I know you get caught up in the excitement of it all, and we all want to look better, but let's not take it at the expense of feeling better, I think is what I would like to leave it with.
See, a word nugget. And, you know, this kind of could relate into tattoos and stuff, although I feel that's just, I don't know. I have
take it and put it where you need to apply it, I think, you know, and just think about what you do before you do it.
Just love yourself.
Love yourself, and there are always going to be consequences for your choices and actions, and just, you know, try to think long term before you dive in uneducated.
And change your face too much.
100%.
Start looking like Madonna.
Okay.
Well, what do you think?
I think we've really laid it out there today. I've had fun. I feel like we've been a little more authentic.
Yeah, well, I feel like we both needed this today. It's been a while. We've had a lot of things happen.
And we have really honestly missed y'all. We talk about y'all every week, but it's just been hard. It's been tough, and so I'm glad we're back.
Me too, but thank you guys for asking. We had several text messages and questions about when we were going to put a new episode out. That makes me smile. I don't know if it's feeding my ego or what, but I've just got to say it does. It makes me happy. So thank you guys for listening to
Thank you very, very much. And if it resonates with you, or you have somebody you know looking to do something and you want them to think a little bit more about it, share with a friend. Like if this episode hit home, you know, anytime you can share, that helps us get the word out there and people know who we are. And
absolutely.
Keep it rolling.
You can find us on YouTube under Hometown Hairdressers and on Apple Podcasts at Hometown Hairdressers. And we, like Shauna said, we've got a new season coming up that we're really excited about. And I think maybe one more episode after this, we'll probably wrap it up and reconfigure and come back hard and heavy with season 2.
Absolutely.
And Shauna's going to be super active on that Instagram. I'm going to be all over the TikTok.
I am back, y'all. I'm feeling a lot more clear mentally, and I'm just eternally grateful for it. So watch out.
All right. Well, do you think we've said enough?
I think we have.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there. You guys take care of yourselves and each other.
Thanks. Bye.